Autistic people likely celebrated the unaliving of Charlie Kirk, and I'm going to tell you why. I'll be your host, Sven Sharpen, for today's episode of Sharpen the Narrative. So, Charlie Kirk, if you don't know, was a very influential figure that taught mainly young people the ways of Christianity and what it means to be a gracious and loving American, and really taught the mindset of America's forefathers. He founded Turning Point USA in reaction to, the brokenness of the school system that I know all too well. So he's someone that I really looked up to in a lot of ways, and I was even supposed to meet him. And yet the day before, literally the day before I was supposed to meet him, he was unalived by a trans sympathizer. And that person is on preliminary trial, basically to prove that he's the one that did it. And the evidence is undeniable that it was him, but that's a whole thing I'm not going to get into. So you're probably wondering, what does this have to do with autistic people celebrating an unaliving? Well, I'm about to get into that. First of all, around 40% of autistic people think they're trans. I said this in a previous video. And then another 30 to 40% say they're something other than straight, usually quote-unquote queer. So that's a big problem. And so if any trans activist does something evil in the name of trans rights, then the autism cult, by extension of the trans cult, will celebrate it. The next reason, and this is a really big reason why autistic people celebrated the unaliving of an American hero, and it's because autistic people have never had a heroic figure like that of their own to actually lead them down the path of truth, to teach them to improve themselves, and to be the best person that they could possibly be. They've never had that type of leadership before. And so it's having a marked effect. Rather, autistic people have been led by woke rainbow and soon crescent demons to go down paths of destruction and evil instead. So that's the second reason. And the third reason why autistic folk celebrated the unaliving of an innocent man is really because we've just been treated like we're worthless by the system. And then the woke mind virus tells us that we don't have to improve ourselves because we're autistic. It's all uncontrollable things because of autism, when it's just so not true. And that every aspect of you, including things that you really shouldn't even accept about yourself, have to be accepted. I understand the acceptance thing, but I think it's gone too far. There needs to be a focus on improvement. Until then, there's not going to be any acceptance. The final thing autistic people are taught is, of course, that conservatives hate us and that we should always have to join the woke mind virus and fight off against these people that really truly want to help us. And they're more open to doing things that work. It's not supposed to be ideological. But the third reason that autistic people celebrated the unaliving of an innocent man is because we've never really had meaningful relationships outside of our own families. So it's really hard to sympathize with somebody who you never really knew. And it's really hard to sympathize with just anyone at all when society has treated you like garbage your entire life. So of course, this makes you extremely susceptible to manipulation by the far left. So if you combine these things, and many more that I'm not going to get into right now, you get a population that is groomed to hate all things Christian and all things American. And Charlie Kirk was a great example of our generation. Well, I guess he's technically a millennial, but I digress. He was a great example of a generational leader that was a Christian American who knew exactly what he was talking about. And he was on a mission called to by God to evangelize the young generation so that the woke mind virus, the devil, couldn't do it. So, that's of course why autistic people, at the very least, share the worldview that of the same people that celebrated Charlie Kirk's unaliving, and they likely celebrated it themselves. Because I looked up to Charlie in a way that most other autistics haven't, he was a true inspiration to me. He was someone I looked up to really well. And of course, I'm devastated that I didn't get to meet him. But he inspired me to create the Autistic Freedom Network and to start this show even before he was unalived. And I learned more from him in 14 months than the broken school system could teach in 14 years. So unlike my peers who were evangelized by Satan thanks to leaderlessness, I was, as I said, devastated after what happened on September 10th. And even after almost 10 months, I still kind of am. Like, it doesn't really get better until like 2 years after. It's especially because I was supposed to meet him literally the next day on September 11th of all days. And so I know for a fact I would have definitely touched his heart with what the Lord has called me to do. It's a lot of the same mission, and it's now basically the same mission after September 10th. And at the very least, I'm going to carry his legacy by basically doing the exact same thing for folks on the autism spectrum. So visiting college campuses, I've already done a little bit of that, and I'm going to do it more once I'm in a position that I can do that. And we're going to give that exact type of leadership to this population that has never had it before and needs it the most. But for now, that was Sharpen the Narrative. Thank you very much for watching this video. God bless you all, and have a great day, everybody. Goodbye.